Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wade's Garage. In today's episode, we're going to be working on the 2JZ GTE engine for the Supra.
This is Raven Beats.
So as you guys already know, we went with a big single turbo, got everything looking really good. So far we got the drive-by wire. I converted over from the cable, the adapters on it. So now I can have a drive-by wire system and it's gonna work a lot better in the Supra than the cable stuff. We got a bunch of new parts over here. We got BC retainers, valve springs, 272 cams, some Powerhouse Racing stuff, a Powerhouse Racing modified oil pump, and a new timing belt, a few other gaskets here. So we're basically just going to refresh everything in the head, put the cams in, run a bit of a time lapse of us getting this thing all buttoned back together. So probably what we'll do is we'll take the manifolds off here so it's a little bit easier to get everything in and we don't damage anything or scratch any paint when we're putting the new stuff in. Get all this stuff replaced, as well as a new water pump as well with a Powerhouse Racing turn down so it does not get in the way of my charge pipe there. So we're gonna be taking that off. Everything is going to be brand new on this engine, all put back together. We got some TRD engine mounts here. Those were hard to find, so I was able to snag a set of those. We'll be getting this 2J all tidied up, and I'm excited because Mish made a pretty large purchase for the Supra. And if you haven't already seen these in my Instagram here, we went ahead and put some new Sparco seats in here with the low profile Titan Motorsports seat frames, Sparco seat slides. So those just look 1,000 times better in the Supra. As you can see, it's all fresh in there now. The seats make a huge difference in there, so I'm quite happy with those. A little bit of a gap here still, as you can see through there, not rubbing or anything. Everything fits great, and it's amazing what the seats can do to a car. Enough of that, let's get into the 2JZ here. Now that the cams are put into this engine here, I didn't really film too much of it because it is a very long process to get springs, retainers, cams put in properly. It took us about like 5 hours to do properly. I just wanted to triple check everything and make sure all the clearances and the valve clearances were okay and everything like that. Everything was in spec, which is perfect. So we got it all back together here. It's looking really good. As you can see, we got the new water pump on there, the new harmonic balancer. I got the tape there to torque that once I get everything put back together. New tensioner, new belt underneath there, new oil pump on the side here. This is a modified oil pump from Powerhouse Racing. So it's all bored out and it's got better springs and seals in it. We got our Powerhouse Racing turn down neck, so the water neck will become down here and it won't be in the way of the charge pipe. We got our oil feed line here, so it matches all the rest of the lines here. So this thing is ready to go inside the Supra. But now, next thing, I got a little surprise for you guys that I had just received in the mail here, and I've been waiting for this for a bit now. You guys are about to see exactly what I got to go on and attach to this to make that Supra the best Supra, in my opinion, and cleanest setup. If you guys haven't already seen the video for this, go check it out. I have put a 4-post lift in the garage as well, so I can keep most of my stuff on this side, and then this side's open for whatever projects I have. So both those cars are stacked onto each other. Supra fits in behind there. Got my desk here, and then I even put lights underneath of hoist, so you can see here, it shines down. You can change any colors you want. Just plugs into the wall and they're underneath there like that. It's just kind of a cool feature. So enough of that. Let's go to the truck, grab everything that we need here. Decided the ball out with the setup here on the car. I was originally gonna go with a different setup, but I'm so glad that I went with this. So as you can see, we went with the T56 Magnum F transmission for the Supra here. This is a 6-speed transmission. These are found commonly in the some of the Corvettes, some of the Vipers. These are a very popular transmission. They're known for holding a lot of power, which is what we're going to be doing with this car. So I want this to be able to hold up all the abuse that we put through it. The best part is that it's got 2 overdrives, so 5th and 6th are going to be nice for cruising. 1st and 2nd and 3rd, they're going to be great with the gear ratio that I have in the back of this car, which is a 408. You have an option to either have a wide ratio or a closed ratio, so different gear ratios inside the trans itself. I went with the closed ratio because it's going to be almost equivalent to the V160 transmission combined with the twin turbo rear end, which is great. So I'll be able to juice it in first gear and I won't wrap it right out. I was going to go with the CDO9 transmission with this. I decided not to. I decided I wanted to switch this up. Down the road, I'm probably gonna wanna switch up to a T56 anyway, so no sense going and doing things twice. I've mentioned this a few times in my videos. Do things right the first time. It'll cost you a lot less money. It might be a lot of upfront money at the time, but you won't be disappointed. This is probably one of the most expensive add-ons that I've done to a car before, this whole entire kit. This is everything that I need. I got a twin disc clutch in here, transmission mount, drive shaft, transmission, and a few other goodies that come in here as well. The best part about the T56 is that everything lines up exactly as factory with these cars. So the shifter and everything will sit dead center in the shift boot. This whole kit was from Grannis Racing. Everybody talks about how good they are. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up here and just take a look at what's inside some of these boxes. I haven't opened anything yet, so I hope everything is there. I'm sure it is. First things first, we're gonna take a look at the transmission itself. It's up here. This is a brand new T56 as well, which is awesome. Wow, he does really pack everything in here nicely. Everything has been spray foamed and brought around. So after we got all that crap out of the way, look quite small in here. Obviously, you're probably wondering where's the bell housing. That is going to be in one of these boxes here. I went ahead and went with the aluminum bell housing because this is a street car, not a drag car. You can have the option of getting a steel bell housing or an aluminum one. Aluminum one's awesome because it absorbs more noise, more street car friendly. Everything lines up a little bit more. With the steel one, you may have to use an index plate and make sure everything is true to the center of the shaft here. So I went to be a little bit more simple and got the aluminum one. It looks a little nicer in my opinion. This is your vent tube here. This is where the shifter is. And then this is your reverse lockout. So yeah, let's get into the rest of the packages here. This is going to be the drive shaft. You can have an option for this as well if you want a carbon fiber drive shaft or an aluminum drive shaft. I went with the aluminum. There's so many things you can do to get out of hand with building a car. You gotta draw the line somewhere. There's your adapter plate to go to the stock 200mm diff. This is a complete kit from Grannis Racing, so you have every nut and bolt possible to make your car a 6-speed manual. I'm a huge fan of full kits. Just saves a lot of headaches. I'm a really big fan of doing things on my own too, but sometimes it's nice to just get something and it's a bolt-in kit. And there is a little drive shaft. It's not too long at all. Good. All the U-joints feel nice. Shouldn't have any vibrations with this. We'll see when we put it in. Looks like we've got a billet yoke here as well. Something about opening new parts. It just never gets old, especially for cars. And this is the index plate that I was talking about. So you would use a gauge to see if it's all true. I ordered this just in case. I wanted to check the bell housing. For the 80 bucks, doesn't hurt to have this. He also included ARP flywheel bolts, so that's a handy thing to have too as well. This is the bell housing, as well as the Bluetooth wiring that he has too. You can connect your phone to this. You can actually change the speed settings through the transmission and adjust the speed where the reverse lockout works. Pretty cool unit. Keeps things very simple. You get an app for it, and you can calibrate your speed sensor so it works perfectly with your car depending on tire size, gear ratios, and everything else. That's a pretty cool thing to have. Clutch lines, everything else in there, which is cool hardware. Shifter parts. This is a tilt and throw out bearing. This piece looks really good, really well made. It looks like a little Grannis stamp there, as you can see. That's going to look great attached there, and then this adapts to the 2JZ, so it's a pretty cool setup. All these brand new parts underneath the vehicles. It looks so good when you lift up a car and you have all brand new parts under there. It just satisfies me. He recommended this RTX twin disc from McLeod, or RXT, I forget what it was. This should handle all the power that we need to, plus it's a twin disc, so it's gonna have super smooth engagement. There is the unit there, flywheels there. It's all kind of somewhat assembled lightly. We're obviously gonna have to take all this apart and line everything up. A clutch alignment tool, so we'll be using that as well. So this should handle up to 850 wheel torque, which is plenty for the JZ platform. So we should be all right with that. And then the horsepower should be a lot more than that. So we should be good. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I know it wasn't too exciting there. We got most of the JZ all put back together, which is good. And we got another part of the puzzle here for this. The only thing we need left for this car to get everything swapped over, we need intercooler piping, intercooler, a few odds and ends, wiring harness and ECU, which are on the way, the wiring harness and ECU together, which is good. And then we can start plumbing everything up, and then we can start hearing that turbo whistle. I'm very excited to hear that. It's going to be a great build. Stick along for the ride if you guys like this content. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.